Story 1. I am bald and was the only man who worked a front-facing position at a local clinic in a town with an aging population. The older or elderly women constantly wanted to rub my head or be very inappropriate in general when speaking to me. The women in the office laughed about it until I pointed out how I would always step in and cover for them or drive off the creepy guys for them, and this was no different. Don't get me wrong. The creepy men said and did far worse things to those women than the old women ever did or said to me, but they still made me uncomfortable. Last year or so I was there, they started helping me hide from the worst of the harassment. That was nice. Story 2. This is somewhat specific to me and those in my situation, but I share the last name of a famous serial killer, very distantly related. Some women get way too excited when they find out. The number of true crime fans who asked me on a date or said yes when I asked because of that has meant I have literally taken it off Facebook and do not tell people at first. Even a few months in, I have gotten, haha, well, I only dated you because it would be wild to be Mrs. Serial Killer. It is creepy, it makes me feel worthless, and yes, I know every detail of what he did because of course I do. Everyone sends me the link anytime there is a new documentary out. Please do not add my last name to your Facebook just because we are dating. No, I will not be intimate with you while we watch a documentary on him. Special shout out to Women in Psychology 101. Edit. I am not going to answer. Guys, no need to direct message me your guesses at my name. It is the same fascination that I am talking about. Story 3. Do not throw the condom in the toilet. Do not worry, I will not go fish it out of the trash. Haha, I understand from a plumbing standpoint why you want it in the trash, but once you add the second part. Story 4. When they proudly say they are crazy and want a guy who can handle that, yeah, there is nothing okay about being proud of that. They should seriously consider getting help if they legitimately think they are unstable. There is too much liability being affiliated with a woman like this. Story 5. Married now, but when dating, I had a few women ask if I was a grower or a shower. It just kind of seemed weird to ask over dinner on a date. While I was flirty back, it's not like I'm going to respond and say, hey, what color are your breasts? Are they more pink or brown? Story 6. When I was really young and working in a coffee shop, a flirty older lady said to me, you look exotic, naive and impressionable. I thought it was somehow remotely appropriate to use this line on another cute customer, and she did not smile when I said it. Story 7. I had a girl come up to me at a bar, stand in front of me, take off my hat and put it on her head. I just looked at her confused. Then she rolled her eyes, put it back on my head, and walked away. Like, sorry, I'm confused by this mating ritual. Story 8. I got approached by a woman at my friend's birthday party. This woman was in her mid-50s and I was 40 at the time. She is married with an adult daughter who was there. She approached me and said I was attractive, and I thanked her. She proceeded to continue to hit on me and then commented on my pecs and grabbed them. I took a step back, and she saw the disgust on my face. She was offended I didn't want her touching me. She then got loud and made a scene, making me look like the person in the wrong. All I wanted was to hang out with my friends and not be harassed. Women think they can get away with it because all guys want sex, but when they get denied, it's our fault. Story 9. Here's a tip. Asking a man what he has under his kilt is just as bad as asking a woman if she is wearing anything under her skirt. Even worse are the women who feel entitled to check. It hasn't happened to me, thankfully, but fellow kilt wearers have had pretty bad encounters before. Story 10. I don't know about women, but I had a female manager interviewing me for a job, telling me they were pro-sexual harassment at the workplace. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I was 22. She was easily 50. That really sucked. Story 11. Talking about how a young or infant boy is going to be sexy or a ladies' man. Like, you seriously sound like a creep, and I'm being polite by using the word creep. Once, while waiting tables, another server wrapped her arms around my neck, stared into my eyes, and said, is it bad that I want to be with someone besides my boyfriend? Like, what in every sense of reasoning? Story 12. A woman I dated not only said but also had a refrigerator magnet with the phrase, if I'm not happy, no one else will be. At first, I thought it was a darkly humorous little trinket. Dear reader, it really wasn't. Story 13. Not something they say, but many women feel it's okay to just make physical contact. I have a complex relationship with being touched, so it's hard for me to process, and then I get criticized for it. Story 14. Women ask me, "Oh, what's under your kilt?" To which I reply, "My wife's best friend." Or, "A perch for 8 golden eagles." It usually ends there. Honestly though, it's mostly men who ask. To which I say, "Why is it always men who want to know?" And it usually ends there. Story 15. I have long curly hair. Women ask if they can touch my hair while already touching my hair. I don't even get to respond. If I do it, I'm considered creepy. Come on, if I don't do it to you, don't do it to me. Just have respect, ladies. Don't be creeps. Story 16. A date and I were making out in a dark parking lot at night. The girl starts laughing. I asked, "What's funny?" She replied, "It's just that if I were to call the police and tell them you sexually assaulted me right now, there's not much you could do to prove your innocence. I'm a cute, white, tiny German girl, and you're a big, mean-looking, medium dark-skinned American man. You'd be in trouble." I responded, "Huh, yeah, guess you're right." Story 17. When I was an Uber driver, I would sometimes have a car full of girls say something like, "You're not going to kill us, are you?" I started replying with, "No. When you're as good at it as I am, you don't do it for free." Story 18. It's not a general thing, but it's definitely the weirdest thing a woman has said to me. I was 17 and working the metal detectors at a concert venue. It was a country concert and we were told to pat down any cowboy boots. We only did body pat downs as a last resort to finding something. A lady was coming through with her friends, only she had boots on. I told her I had to check the boots, just pressing down on either side of the leg part to check for flasks. She said, "Oh, how many pretty girls have you tried this on?" while laughing with her friends. She was easily as old as my mother. Story 19. A woman told me, a man in his 30s, that she loves it when I'm very strong. I asked her to please never say that again. The same woman, who is almost 40, also mentioned a word that I wish I could forget. Story 20. My arms are heavily tattooed. Women will often say, "Can I see your tattoos?" and then immediately start touching them. I have some pretty obvious self-harm scars on my forearms, so it's super embarrassing and always makes me really uncomfortable. I know I have my own blame in the situation, but yeah, not a fan. Story 21. Random women are grabbing my bicep and feeling it in an overt way, as if appraising me like a slave on the auction block. This usually occurs in a bar when the woman has had a drink or two. She says, "Hi there, my friend and I were just talking." And I said, "Oh," then proceeds to grab my bicep and feel it. "Lady, I'm not interested. Please go away." Story 22. I had a woman talk about us getting married after the first time we had sex. We hadn't even been on an official date yet. I would have bolted out of there, but it was my house. I told her that I had to work early in the morning, but she didn't get the hint. She was intent on spending the night. To make matters worse, the sex was terrible. Story 23. As a boy who looked 19 at the age of 14, the number of women who have casually laughed off hitting on me and turned it into, "Come see me when you turn 18, again while I'm 14," is a bit much. Story 24. When they claim they can pursue any man they want, usually in front of your significant other. I have had multiple older women start a conversation with me by saying, "Hey cutie, I would like to break off a piece of you." Story 25. I remember once at the gym, after I finished my chest workout, some lady just poked my chest and said, "Damn, those are hard. Keep up the hard work," and just walked away before I could comprehend. I was talking to my friend, who was a trainer, and he looked at me confused and was like, "Bro, who was that?" And I just said, "I don't know, man. Imagine if," after a girl was done doing her squats, and I poked her cheek and said, "That booty is getting hard. Keep up the good work." I get jumped. Story 26. At work, a candy striper, whom I knew had a crush on me and was super religious, came up to me without any prompt. In a monotone voice and with too much eye contact, she stated, "I just turned 18. I'm legal now." It was incredibly creepy. Story 27. The unpleasant kind of woman who actively seeks out married men to see if they can lure them away. I am happily married to a lady who is attractive. Everyone at work has met her. There was this one pair of older women at work who would just say outrageous things. Hey, you know what happens when there are more girls than guys? The girls get competitive. You really think your wife can compete with all this? Yes, she can. Story 28. It's okay if I slap you. I am a woman. It doesn't hurt as much when I do it. You are not a real man. A real man would. How deep does the rabbit hole go? One thing is for sure, I will not be the explorer in that story. Manipulation. Story 29. A lot of women do not believe they are capable of committing assault and thus engage in actions that would definitely be considered rape if a man did them. I have had women refuse to leave my apartment unless I slept with them. I have been bullied and made fun of for not wanting sex. I have been groped. It really is unfortunate. I have also been body shamed a lot just for being uncircumcised. One time I was hooking up with a girl in college, and when I took my pants off, she reacted in shock, saying, "What is wrong with you?" With a tone one might expect for someone with a severe sexually transmitted disease, showing absolute disgust and horror. I was and am completely free of sexually transmitted diseases, though. She had just never seen a natural form before. Needless to say, I asked her to leave after that. On the flip side, I have also been fetishized and objectified a lot because I am taller, muscular, well-endowed, and have a uniquely large and round physique for a man, among other reasons. While this is often flattering if I am in the mood for it and enjoying the attention, it can also be really dehumanizing and degrading depending on the context. Story 30. 2 women I have dated throughout my life believed men could not get raped by a woman, and those who claim they were are labeled as liars or gaslighters. It is a pretty horrific viewpoint to hear as their partner, so my condolences for the women out there who hear worse from men. Story 31. I had a girl tell me to guess how many people she slept with. I refused, and after she insisted, I relented and guessed 15. She said higher and made me keep guessing after refusing a second time. After 2 more wrong guesses, she eventually told me she slept with 45 men, 60 people total, including the women. I had no interest in those details about her sexual history, and forcing me to participate in a guessing game about her number was a real turnoff. I certainly hope my experience is the outlier, but I doubt I'm the first to have had this happen. Story 32. I was in a bar. A girl comes up to me and asks if she could feel the size of my penis. I am pretty tall, so I get it a lot. What confuses me to this day is that it was in front of her boyfriend. Story 33. I don't get creeped out because I'm not overly sensitive and not much worries me in general. That said, the thing that annoys me lately is more about word choice. It seems lately that mostly women are using or misusing quasi-technical terms related to psychological or social issues in order to lend a bit more authority to whatever it is they're saying. So, instead of my colleague acted like a douchebag and she left me feeling annoyed, they'll offer my colleague is a toxic narcissist and her abuse has left me with trauma. On the one hand, it's just a dumb trend, but on the other hand, those words actually do have real use for people experiencing actual diagnosed psychological issues or abuse, and throwing the terms around devalues the currency of the words for people who might really need them. Story 34. New trends over social media such as stalking is cool when girls do it, what I posted for my crush to like me, and I'm jealous and crazy but in a cute way are problematic. Saying things like, no, reflects disapproval of such behaviors. Leeches, parasites, creeps. Please just go away. Story 35. I was bartending, and there was a hen party whose challenge in their game was to kiss the bartender. I said okay as long as it was on the cheek, and turned my head, but the woman grabbed my face and tried to kiss me on the lips. I had to walk away and tell them I wouldn't be serving them, and all they could say was, come on, don't be frigid, you know you want to. Story 36. I was once on 6th Street and went to get tacos from a food truck. Suddenly, a woman approached me and asked if I could get some for her, adding, please, can you buy some for me? At that moment, I was feeling quite out of it due to being under the influence. She then made an uncomfortable gesture by grabbing my hand. Realizing the inappropriateness of the situation, I quickly moved my hand away. It was indeed a very unsettling experience, and I felt too intimidated to approach the police, especially considering my condition at the time. Story 37. Usually, it's not what they say, but what they do. This includes getting handsy or groping strangers and trying to sit on men's laps in bars or casinos. Also, reading explicit content in public is something to consider. It's fine if you enjoy that in privacy, but it's really inappropriate to do that in public. In terms of what they say, gossiping about their partner's sexual prowess is really gross and creepy. Story 38. When they joke about cutting your parts off if you cheat or make violent sexual remarks, and their friends join in, if she doesn't, I will. Better watch out, and things of that nature. I want you to imagine a man telling his partner, if you cheat on me, I'll cut your breasts off. And then his friend saying, I'll do it before you if she ever hurts you. It doesn't suddenly become cute and okay when it's women doing it. Also, having worked with women for years in multiple jobs, I confidently can say the average female locker room talk is far more descriptive, personal, and invasive than I've heard from men. Size, shape, technique, duration, insecurities, pillow talk. The amount of details I've heard about men I'll never meet just through hearing passing comments is absurd. There is zero sense of privacy with some women. With guys, at most, I hear if it was good and if he thinks she came. Women straight up be creeping sometimes with it. Also, women's restrooms, nightmare fuel. Red and brown stains on the walls with zero attempt to hit the toilet bowl. Tampons just on the ground. Some weird mucus on the seat. Made me sick.